What if Shah Rukh Khan from Kal Ho Na Ho actually does not die and he actually marries me instead after I give him the kiss of his life?
Come back to the real world. This is some random imagination you have.
But I'm good with my imagination.
There are two types of people. One that eats popcorn and the other that eats Greek yogurt.
Popcorn's better.
This is not a contest, please. Hello, and welcome to the Smut Shame podcast, where we talk about sex, intimacy, and all things girlhood. Things we're told to be ashamed about while growing up. I'm Amrita, coming to you from the headquarters of the sexual revolution in India, that sassy thing, where we're trying to close the pleasure gap, one good vibe at a time.
I'm Ridhi, and I come from the headquarters of the yapping community of Instagram. In this podcast, you will see I'm Just a Girl syndrome coming to life.
Whether you're like folding some laundry or on the way to work, we really hope you enjoy this podcast because we're just trying to give you some good vibes and giggles. And talking about smut shame, I think the one aspect of smut that I really want to talk about, and I know you are like the literature enthusiast here, but can I tell you that I am also secretly a literature enthusiast because I have read a lot of fanfic in my life. Have you read a lot of fanfic?
Not so much actually, but yeah, I am that person who thinks about writing a fan fiction sometimes after watching something.
Right.
Yeah, I could write about this.
What are some for people who don't know what fanfic is, and I just shortened it because it's cool to shorten words today. But fanfic is basically fan fiction where people reimagine popular fiction in their own way. And I think that's what we're all doing here. I mean, even if we're not writing it down, all of us reimagine things. Like, what if this happened? What if Harry Styles one day in the middle of a show noticed that I'm just standing there doing my own thing, and then he's like, that girl, she's it. And then calls me out to stage. Okay, let's not.
Harry Styles, where are you? Nowhere.
Stupid.
Yeah.
But what is fanfic you would write?
The fan fiction I would write. I think I'd like to reimagine Fleabag's ending and write a fan fiction on that. I would sort of write it about like a priest who is very religious and then a woman who is showing him things that religion doesn't show you. And then it can be a nice, I think, a nice work of smut. There is already a scene existing. I think my novel would be based on many such scenes where she talks about her sins. And then
they do more.
He asks her to kneel down. Yeah, I think so. When it ends on a note where, spoiler, that she confesses her love and he says it'll pass, and then she says, but why should we let it pass? And then they kiss, and then there's a happily ever after, which is very dirty. I think that is the fan fiction that I'll write.
Wow, I love that. I have actually written fan fiction.
Wow.
Yeah, I have written a lot of fan fiction again about when I was into One Direction, I was not into Harry Styles. Now I am after he left. But when I was initially into One Direction, I really liked Niall Horan. And I have written a lot of fan fiction about like hanging out with the boys and like cuddling up next to Niall Horan and all of that. And I've imagined a lot of these things too. And I think yeah, that is something I would write fanfic about. I would also write fanfiction to like rewrite some endings. So I just watched the abysmal last season of Umbrella Academy, which has left me raging because it was one show that made me feel like I'm so cool. I watch Umbrella Academy and you don't even know it. It's not even mainstream and all of that.
Yeah.
But then they royally screwed it up in the last season in so many ways. And when I see the comment section, so many people are going on and on about how are different ways they would end the show. And that got me thinking, like, it's so interesting that people love to imagine and think and, think of the what ifs. And I love that. And I remember when Game of Thrones ended and people were mad at the ending. Yeah. I had seen people rewrite the entire season. Line by line, the entire season they rewrote, and that is some dedication to, claim a work of art that you love that has betrayed you, stabbed you in the back,
Yeah.
and written about it. So I think fan fiction is, a lot of people think fan fiction is just about, like shipping Harry Potter and Draco Malfoy.
Yeah.
Did you know, like, Daniel Radcliffe has read a lot of his own fan fiction?
I can imagine him doing that though.
Smutty, very spicy
Yeah.
fan fiction. He's read it and he's like, I don't want to Google myself anymore.
Yeah. I think if there's another person that I would write fan fiction about easily, at the back of my hands would be Shah Rukh Khan. Because why not? I mean, I think I'd like
I think
to
we
think.
know your love for Shah Rukh Khan quite well at this point in the
Yes.
podcast.
I think what I do is I imagine that, so he was suffering from, I don't know what illness exactly in Kal Ho Na Ho. I'd like to think that I enter his life like an angel. I kiss him and then he resurrects. And then there's the kiss of life, the kiss of the elixir.
Elixir.
And then we live a happily ever after, and Preeti Zinta is not in the picture. No offense to Preeti Zinta.
Where did she go?
She just no, because I
It doesn't exist.
yeah, because I came in his life and he realized that she's not the right one. Yeah,
It's you, Ridhi.
it's me.
It's always been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like really crazy. I think the power of fan fiction, people make fun of it. People think it's like 12-year-old girls writing about like their imagination, like their dreams and all of that. But I think fan fiction is really powerful, and people don't realize that a lot of books are inspired by already existing fiction.
Yeah,
And a lot of books are written as fan fiction.
yeah,
And then it's great authors, writers, like really renowned people who would write about like works of art that inspired them and meant something to them. And my favorite example of this would be, actually it's sort of like I wouldn't say a favorite example. Let me take that back. It's not my favorite example, but one of the examples that was really popular is the After series. Have you watched it on Netflix?
no, I haven't.
Okay, so it's based on a book,
Yeah.
which is fan fiction about Harry Styles.
Hmm.
And it gets very naughty and it gets very wild and very like rough, like dominant man.
Yeah.
Like it became like it became a movie series. There are 3 films made on this. It's Harry Styles fan fiction.
Yeah.
Imagine if my fan fiction became big.
Yeah.
I could have had 3 movies.
A lot of money. Yeah.
But no, I really think it's so cool that even though a lot of people have a lot of problems with After, and I completely understand that,
Yeah.
I think the fact that fan fiction can make it to the mainstream that way, it's no joke. Don't
Yeah.
take it seriously. I mean, not don't.
Yeah.
Take it seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think another great example is 50 Shades of Grey. It's said to be inspired from a fan fiction series called The Master of Universe. And it's big now, like, and I think, so similarly, I also think like I was reading about it on Reddit again. I think people are going to call us like Reddit enthusiasts. Ridhi, the Reddit enthusiast.
Yeah. You will never find us on Reddit. I hope you never find us on Reddit.
Yeah. But I was reading this on Reddit and people actually didn't like the way that fanfiction has been turned into a movie, because fanfiction, as you were saying, it's not like just about like a 12-year-old something writing up. It has a story, it has a plot, it has emotions to it, has a narrative going on.
Yeah.
And people do feel that while this is inspired from like a great fanfiction story, the way they translated it into a movie was a lot about not even BDSM at that time. Sometimes it looks like it's very close to abuse, or there are boundaries of consents which are very blurred.
They're just cosplaying media.
Yeah. So it's not always the adaptation itself.
Yeah.
It's not always nice. It can go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think fanfiction can definitely go wrong in a lot of ways, and that I think disproves the whole point that fanfiction exists, which is to correct a work of art sometimes, or if it's also to reimagine things. When I was a kid, I would also, who doesn't do it? Like, everyone imagines different realities for themselves, right? Like, I think I've done this a lot where I would imagine certain realities for my friends also, and I would speak it out. So I wouldn't write it down, but I would be like, imagine if this happened, and then this would happen, and this would be at sleepovers just before we go to bed. I'm telling them a bedtime story about like their favorite actor or their favorite musician, and then them and how I would ship them together, how they would meet at like a cute like restaurant, run into each other,
meet
book
cute.
stalls, like a meet cute.
Yeah.
So I think I've done that a lot, and I've read a lot of like random things on the internet, and one thing I've read is also this fan fiction on Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And
Wow.
it's not Shah Rukh Khan. I'm sorry, but Shah Rukh Khan is out of this picture, this fan fiction, and it's Tina and it's Anjali. So imagine,
Interesting.
Imagine like a sapphic retelling of like kick Shah Rukh Khan out, and then you just get these two women together, and they go crazy. So. And that's also, a lot of people think it might even be canon, and another dictionary moment. Canon means when in fan fiction, when they write something that could be true in the real universe of the story, in the fictional universe of that story. If it could be real, if it's something that makes sense, that's called canon. So this is something that could be canon also, is that she names her daughter Anjali. Right? So people secretly think that Tina was never into Shah Rukh, and she was always into Anjali. And
I recently found out that there's a fan fiction on Hum Saath Saath Hai also, since you're obsessed with Hum Saath Saath Hai and you were talking about Prem and Prem's gaze. So there is this fan fiction about the romance that happens between Preeti and Prem, but they're not as shy as they're shown in the movie. So that is, so that's basically based on that. So in family gatherings, they're all like, nahi, all of that. But then when they're in private, they just, they're at it. So it's like this secret lives of Preeti and Prem, where they're not as shy as they're shown in the movie.
Cute. And there are a lot of like, there's a lot of interesting like Indian takes also on Western fiction. Like, Harry Potter, for example. Harry Potter has a lot of Indian POV-led fiction, where some people reimagine what it would be like if Harry was Indian, or like if Hogwarts was in India, and things like that. Because I also think that's also pretty cool, because culturally you can't relate to a lot of Western fiction, right? And a lot of Western stories. So like, to retell the same thing in your cultural thing, and people are so strong with the whole Harry Potter universe, like the Potter world universe, and they love reimagining which house they would belong to, and what wand they would have, and what the Patronus would be, and things like that. And I think it's really cool if someone wants to make, say, Harry Potter Punjabi.
Oh, there's actually so Vishnu Kaushal is a very popular creator. He and his brother, they've created this entire series of desi Harry Potter, and their Dumbledore is like speaking in Punjabi ki tu ki kitta, all of that, ki panchayatho and all of that, and that's so funny, and I love it. You know, when people personalize their favorite movies.
I love it. I love fan fiction. There's very creative ways of also making fan fiction. I've seen people make animated videos. There's this one animated series called Owls. I don't remember the full form. I think it's Adventures of One Direction, something. And it's an animated show about One Direction members as superheroes. And it's really funny. Like, he voices every single one of them, and he brings in interesting facts about their lives and things like that. So I think in that way, fan fiction is what makes any piece of fiction into what it is, bigger than it is, right? It makes it more relatable. And there's also this quote that I read by Naomi Novik, where she says, "Fanfic writing isn't work; it's joyful play. The problem is that for most people, any kind of writing looks like work to them. Does writing feel like work to you?"
No,
I feel like writing can be fun.
If you like it, I mean,
if you like it,
it doesn't feel like work. If it feels like work, you probably
Did you know
don't like it.
Neil Gaiman used to write fan fiction?
You're on a mission to just throw truth bombs and just spoil things away. So go on.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman has written a lot of fan fiction he's written fan fiction on Sherlock Holmes, on C.S. Lewis, Alice in Wonderland, and H.P. Lovecraft. So a lot of their works, he's picked it up and he's written fan fiction on that too. So I think anyone can be a fanfic writer, so stop dissing on fanfic in general.
I know that there's this, the weirdest thing, oh my god. read it again. Hate Reddit for this. But I got to know that Alice in Wonderland was a very discussed book in our course. When I was studying literature, discussed all the details of it, which I'll not go into because I don't want to prove to anyone on the internet that I'm a nerd. But someone has written a fan fiction on Alice and her love story with Humpty Dumpty. I don't know. People take it too far.
Comically, how would that work?
I don't know. So apparently, there's always this damsel in distress thing.
Right.
So she saves Humpty Dumpty from falling. And then Humpty Dumpty and Alice fall in love and Humpty Dumpty and Alice have a happily ever after. I mean,
That's so nice.
yeah.
That's
So
sweet.
it's cute also, but also a little weird. Which I think is a good definition of fanfiction. It's cute, but it's weird.
Yeah. I want to do a quick call out. In the last episode, you said that you don't wear red lipstick as much because your family told you you're not supposed to wear red lipstick and all of that. And that's something even I've experienced. It's a very common experience that a lot of my female friends have also told me, and a lot of people have witnessed growing up in their homes. So that's why, in honor of that, I wore this.
It's so cute.
And I'm like, wear that red lipstick, go out, look hot, do your thing.
Yeah. Jane Eyre was a very popular book. Nerds would know. But Jane Eyre also has some great fanfiction, and it's nice. I think you were earlier talking about the reimagining of endings, right?
Yeah.
When I was reading Jane Eyre, I liked the book, of course, because by the end of it, the whole equation between Jane and Mr. Rochester is cute, but at the same time, Mr. Rochester is toxic. Let's just put it out there. And I think Miss Darcy also, for that matter, So the Victorian man, who's 50% toxic, 50% I love you, you make my hands shake and all of that. But all of that. But I think so there's this fan fiction where Mr. Rochester and Jane go on like a nice Europe tour together, and there Jane sort of meets someone else who's not as toxic as Mr. Rochester, and then she runs away. She elopes with him and has like a different happily ever after, and Rochester goes back to like being a sad man. So I mean, people like to, I think, so fan fiction is also a way to gain control over something you like, to like make it more personal, to end it the right way. And it's nice also. I like reading that.
There's a lot of even this is so much fan fiction on the internet, like on Wattpad, on Archive of Our Own.
Oh, Wattpad days.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wattpad days.
That's where I have written my fan fiction. I don't even remember the name.
Guys, you should go search it.
You cannot find it. I couldn't find it myself. I don't remember the title. I don't remember anything about it. But I remember it was about Niall Horan. So there are so many different types of fan fiction also. And I just want to shed some light on it, because I think people should write more fan fiction. I think people should reimagine things, make it more personal to themselves. There is obviously the slash fiction. And that's not about murder as much as it sounds. Slash fiction is where you're shipping two people of the same sex, usually. And that happens a lot, even in real life. So, there are these popular YouTubers, Dan Howell and Phil. And they were just two friends who made content together and they were having fun. And before both of them came out, there was so much fan fiction about both of them being, in a couple together and dating each other. And sometimes it got a little dangerous. I feel like to a point where you are making real people uncomfortable, right? I think there's a lot of fan fiction about Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson. They're called Nag shippers. And I also know a lot of people who think it might be true. And whether it's true or not, I also feel like they are real people with personal lives, and keep it to your private thoughts, to your I don't know. I think I have a lot of opinions about fan fiction, about real people.
Yeah, I've heard about this happening with a lot of K-pop stars and K-drama stars also. And in a non-scary way, I have seen this with a bunch of kids. They used to do this at the back of their notebook. They used to write the name of a K-pop star or like someone from BTS and like put a heart and add their name.
Yeah.
And they used to tell me that they imagine themselves in an alternate universe with these stars. And I think that imagination, that cute story writing is okay.
That's personal.
Yeah, but then few people take it too far. They start clicking pictures, they start stalking that person and all of that.
Yeah, they're called sasaengs in the K-pop world. It's like really dangerous fans also who their imagination takes over reality, I would say. So, write fan fiction and read fan fiction responsibly, kids. Yeah. I guess. There's also alternate universe fan fiction where you don't want to take away from the like whatever happened in that world or in that timeline or whatever, and you take it to an alternate universe and see how things could play out. Yeah. And this is like, Harry Potter being Punjabi or...
Yeah. This reminds me, recently, Konkana was in an interview when she was asked, have you watched Wake Up Sid?
Yes.
So she was asked that, where do you think you and Sid would be by now? She said, in an alternate universe, I think they'd be standing in front of a divorce lawyer because I don't think they were compatible. And I agree because...
I think she was like gentle parenting him throughout.
And I would get tired of the fixing or the bringing up the man-child thing.
Of course.
So,
She was mothering him and she had like, she had no other choice in that situation. That's pretty cool. He admitted that. And then there's crack fan fiction, which is, as the name suggests, crack. It's just writers having fun with it. They're doing whatever they want. They're making the characters do whatever they want. There's also PWP, which is basically plot without plot, which is just smut. Yeah. It's just sex. It is straight up sex. And I think that is also huge on the internet. I've seen so much erotica on Literotica. So, like before, when I used to read on Literotica, so much of it would just be like just smut, straight up smut of different actors, different people, characters. And then finally there's crossover fiction, which you bring in people from different universes and bring them together. So like, what are two words that you would love to like bring in, like crossover?
I think I'll tell you something that I don't love first and then I'll get to. So there's this piece of erotica. It's called the Empath Rising, which essentially features this monstrous woman, and if you capture her heart, you can make her do the things that you want and all of that. And that's clearly not my type. Let's just get it out there. I think something that would be my type clearly is I think just the reimagination of sort of going out with a celebrity or something of that sort. We discussed it on previous episodes also, like a mafia just coming into my life and then changing my life, or like a celebrity that I have a crush on finding me somewhere and then just falling in love with me and then taking me to a secret island and all of that. However problematic that sounds, I'm sorry. But I think I'd write that. I'd also I think the idea of a human and a monster together, but not in an abusive or not in a violent sense. I'd like that in a sense that both of them like respect each other for who they are and get to know about each other's worlds, and then they sort of like in Bollywood also there's a lot of robot and human relationship dynamic that goes on.
Robo, there's Ravan, there's
those kind of stuff.
There was that Priyanka Chopra movie where she
2050 something. No, 2030. I don't know. I'm forgetting. But
something. I hope that does not happen. And you're like, she has a walking, talking teddy bear.
Oh yeah.
So weird.
But I like that movie. Yeah.
I saw that teddy bear and I stopped watching.
I liked it. I did think that this is what 2024 would look like, flying cars and all of that. And look at us, how far we've come. Talking about Shah Rukh Khan at 5 p.m.
I think Fan fiction is fun. I would go back now, I think, and read some more fan fiction just to feel nostalgic.
Yeah.
And I want to know in the comments what are some fan fiction that you would love to read or you would write. And also just, leave recommendations for each other as well. I think that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see some of the recommendations you guys give for fan fiction, especially if it's Harry Styles, Hosier, or
Hosier.
Gold
Yeah.
Dinner. Yeah.
Sorry.
Gold. Or actually, Harry Styles, Hosier. Any of those two, I would love to read that.
Yeah.
fanfic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also if you guys can find fan fiction written by Amrita, you can tag me somewhere. Yeah. Oh.